There's been growing disapproval among British MPs over Theresa May's handling of Brexit. It's been there for quite a while now. Do you think this letter of no confidence, though, will change anything, will change her course of direction?
I doubt it very much. I mean, Mrs May, I listened to the speech today, and it's what she does best, really, which is a lot of rhetoric, fine words, which don't really amount to anything, certainly don't translate into actions. Now, she's upset many of her genuine leavers in the Conservative Party, but I'm not sure that they're strong enough to actually force, a leadership contest and get rid of her, which would probably result in a general election, which they're not confident they would win anyway. So I think she's going to carry on the same course, which is to, in effect, completely ineffectually negotiate with the EU until they come to, in my opinion, what's going to happen is that we'll end up with a withdrawal agreement whereby we don't really leave in reality, we just leave in name, which is precisely what she said she isn't going to do. But how can we trust her? She was a Remainer up until the day of the referendum. And then after the referendum, she gets entrusted with the most important job in British politics, for the last 2 generations, which is to get us out of the EU. So why would you believe anything she says? You can only judge her on results. And so far, there haven't been any results. One of the key things she said about was, there's 2 key things I'd like to pick up on. One was talking about offering the EU a tariff-free trade deal. Well, why doesn't she do that? She could say to them, let's have continued tariff-free trade. You have, last time I counted, it was about 58 different free trade agreements with countries around the world. None of them include the free movement of people. And she could have said, well, you've got plenty of these on the shelf. We can customise one pretty quickly. You can make your mind up on that. Let's give them the months to think about it. We can have one of those, or you can have WTO terms, World Trade Organization terms. And why doesn't she do that? She talks about seeking respect from the EU. That's the other thing. Well, why would they respect you if you're not actually telling them what it is that you intend to do, and you keep on asking, oh, how do we leave? Can we have this? Can we have that? They're not going to respect somebody like that. They don't want us to leave anyway. They've got no incentive whatsoever to offer us a good deal. So I wouldn't respect her either if I was in that position.
And of course, the other big bit of news coming out the conference was Boris Johnson, of course, his speech described as inspirational by some MPs. Do you think the former foreign minister's got a chance at, having a shot at the leadership and negotiating a Brexit that perhaps many MPs, as well as yourself, in his own party, would like to see?
Well, I think Boris is always pretty much about Boris. It's about his career prospect. I mean, he was a Remainer for a very long time himself. I think he's only seen which way the national wind is blown on this. I think that, obviously there was a leave vote. I think the national mood, actually, if there was a second referendum, which I don't want because we don't need one, but if there was, I think it would get a bigger majority. That would be my feeling. He understands that. He's got enough, political nous to understand that. And his position is more about becoming leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister than it is a genuine concern about achieving a proper exit from the EU. So if he were able to force a leadership contest, if he were able to win, again, we'd have to judge him on the results, not on the rhetoric. And time is very short now. I mean, the Constitutional Committee of the European Parliament here wrote a report over a year ago which said that all of this had to be agreed by October, where we are now, because they have to start planning for the next European elections. And yet we're nowhere near agreeing a withdrawal agreement. It should all be cut and dried now and done, and nothing has happened. And it hasn't happened because of the complete inability and ineffectiveness of Mrs May as Prime Minister to get an agreement out of them. I mean, personally, I don't think we should have an agreement. I think we should just leave and then tell them how it's going to work. That's the only way it's ever going to happen, and that's the last thing that Mrs May actually wants to do.